I like how he just automatically assumed that, I'm pretty sure that he's either was using her phone when he's doing the stuff he's doing, this criminal, or a VOIP. Either way, there should be able to some way to still look at that stuff. But anyways, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah, I hope that's in your size for for whoever is behind, you know. And I hope I just, I hope we got. I hope that whenever they finally do catch that just disgusting attacking, here he goes being a hypocrite, lying, saying I'm attacked women, not putting things into context. And here's the thing, Sharpie Sunday that got mentioned. I kind of just was understand what she's about. Like, I straight up just said, like, literally was just talking to the person. I said, well, I understand because, see, apparently people that this person had went after said that they were going to write people's names down, and and basically they had threatened suicide. Anyways, the friend of mine doesn't appreciate what they were doing. They were talking about Sharpie Sunday was going to be them mocking them for doing that outrageous stuff. And I said, oh well, I laughed at it, and they're trying to use that. I said that what it was when you said it. Um, and I know she said what she did, but in the moment, I really wasn't thinking. So if that offends anybody, I'll take responsibility for that. But yeah, because you never know, and I don't think that I or anybody else can really ever judge when somebody that says that is serious or not. And why would you even, like, so I don't necessarily agree with that. The issue that's with, you know, those two women is between those two women after the Sly and Dana thing. I'm trying to stay up out of that. So it is what it is. But yeah, so just so y'all know, um, because we got a dumbass rabid squirrel running around.
My voice not
fucking
well.
lies.
I can't even lie. I can't even lie. Is it me or what, Nate? You talking shit? Look around and find out, Nate.
Yeah, sorry about that. What's up, Dumb Gene? Well, again, people using that, there they go again, using that doxing word. But if we got a criminal in our community, um, since they want to try to make me into one and, have been trying to string me along the way and getting me to react, me almost look like I'm crazy or whatever when I'm, not, I, you know, doxing, if you're trying to bring awareness to like, somebody that's done some bad things in your neighborhood for your family's sake and other families, and you're doing it with an educational purpose and you're not advocating for them to be harmed, then technically under the law, you're fine. You know, civilly, I guess, something, equally, and might have something perhaps, but it don't seem, and maybe not, especially like I said, if you're doing it in a, educational way. I ain't ever told y'all to go after anybody. I'm not going to start today or any other day. I ain't ever. All right, y'all. We got a crazy story to check on. Be just
welcome everybody to another episode of Lockdown 23.
Reminiscing on dumb shit. Shout out Lockdown 23 and 1. Hey, Bird. Yeah, that's true, Bird. I mean, I don't think anybody threw any names out or anything without finding out what the hell happened. Somebody clearly got harassed on the phone, and whether the caller ID was fake or whatever. I mean, now click on it. That's why at the present time, the person that's maybe suspected, I, I'm not saying who they are. No. I'm just saying I think. I can't control
3 and 1.
someone else.
That's right. Today I got another lineup of breaking lockup and crime related news coming your way. Some of these stories are absolutely unbelievable. Can't wait to hear what y'all have to say about it. Not to mention an update on a pastor that we've been following since 2022. He got smoked and I knew it was coming. So let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the channel and enjoy all things lockup and crime related, then this is where you want to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out my playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. Find funny or important. There's a clipping option on YouTube. You can clip it, and then I'm going to compile them all on it like I just did the other day. And not to mention on the next video that I do with all these clips put together, I'm going to put the name of the person that clipped and links that goes with each clip in the order that you see them, so you can go straight to the full video and watch it. I know people were like, man, I wish I could see a little bit more of what that clip was about. And you'd be there for hours without a link trying to find it, So just want to say that before we get into the prison news of the day. Now, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. The first story is coming from Georgia. A prison inmate kills a prison kitchen worker and takes his own life. This morning, the article has been updated, and everything that I assumed was absolutely right. The Georgia Department of Corrections is working to get answers after deadly double shooting took place at Smith State Prison early Sunday morning, Father's Day, I believe. And we've covered many stories coming from Smith State Prison, man. That place is pretty active, especially with the contraband. I mean, almost every Georgia prison is known for its contraband. These drones are getting out of control. We'll talk more about that in a second, but it says, according to the GDC, offender Hart shot and killed food service worker Arion Grace before turning the gun on himself. And when I say offender, I'm talking about inmate, all right? This inmate got a gun. And there's only two ways, if you were to ask me, that he got this weapon. One, if I were to guess, for sure, that's how he got it. Two, a correctional officer or some other staff member, which I highly doubt. Just too many cameras and snitches within the facility. So the only way to really try to get away with it cleanly, with the least amount of getting caught, is by drone. And if it was done by drone, then it's going to be extremely hard to figure out who did it, especially if the inmate that took his own life was the only one that knew. But the GDC said it recovered the gun that was used in the shooting. The Corrections Department has now learned what led up to the incident. Many specifically want to know how the gun got into the prison. And this is not the first time that guns have gotten into prison. I mean, I just toured, was it Brushy Mountain State Prison? I just did a tour in there, and on one of the cell blocks before you go in is a little, thing that you could read about some of the history on it. And they brought a gun in there, killed a couple people. So not to mention, we've seen a video a long time ago coming from Louisiana, I believe, of an inmate having a gun. But it says Brian Randolph of the Human and Civil Rights Coalition of Georgia says he actually contacted the GDC last year telling them he heard a gun was in the prison. So we were tipped off in May of last year of a possible weapon that had been dropped off via drone along with other contraband. Randolph said he texted GDC's general counseling telling her exactly what he had heard. We never heard anything else about it after that, he said. I bet they wish they took that into consideration a little bit more. Now, especially with that type of intel out, they were warned that there might be a gun in the place. That's easily going to be a lost window opener. Smith State Prison is no stranger to violence. Like I said, we have covered many stories coming from this place. Some advocates believe the violence inside Smith State Prison is caused in part by staff. That believes the incident will likely only make matters worse when it comes to hiring new employees. Nobody's going to go in and work in these places, he said. And I agree. Look, I've been around. Rate the prisons that I've seen was extremely high. As soon as they walked into the sub block and got disrespected by every gang member in there, talking about your granny, mama, and daddy, everyone that passed away already, you go home saying, I don't think that this is worth the money, right? That's just how it goes for a lot of people. In October, inmate assaulted a corrections officer with a homemade and killing him. We covered that story as well. And it also goes on to say in the article that there was possibly a relation between the inmate and the worker. Maybe he got jealous. Stuff like that happens all the time. I've seen guys that were messing with COs, and then those COs be chatting it up with other inmates, man, jealous right there. Approach the CO like it's his girlfriend in the cell block. I've witnessed this stuff, man. But at the same time, that girl's going from door to door giving handshakes every night. Somehow he fell in love with the girl and gets jealous at the same time. He didn't take her life like this situation. I'm just saying, I've seen firsthand these type of emotions in prison. So if I were to guess, it's probably what happened. This girl started her job in January, right? So, I mean, that's only a few months for this inmate to have, worked his magic to possibly have a relationship with, fall in love. I don't think that that's the case. I think possibly he knew her from the streets, fell in love with her out there, got her to get a job in there, she hit the fan, and he took both their lives. If I were to guess, that's what I think happened. We'll find out soon enough when they give out more updates, but very sad situation. And as always, my condolences go out to both families. Next up, we're traveling down to New York to speak about a bishop that we've been following since 2022. It says a bishop in Brooklyn, New York, who authorities say stole from one of his parishioners, was sentenced to 9 years in prison Monday in a series of financial fraud crimes that netted him millions, federal prosecutors say. Bishop Lamar Miller Whitehead, 46, was convicted in March of wire fraud, attempted extortion, and making false statements to federal law enforcement agents. Miller Whitehead, a bishop at the Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries Church, made headlines in July 2022 when armed assailants robbed him and his wife of $1 million worth of jewelry during a live stream church service. Williams said in a statement, today's sentence puts an end to Whitehead's schemes and reflects the office's commitment to bring accountability to those who abuse their positions of trust. Miller Whitehead embraced his flashy lifestyle. He was known for driving around in a Rolls Royce. Records show that he lived in a $1.6 million home in Jersey. Miller Whitehead also persuaded one of his parishioners to invest about $90,000 from her retirement savings with him by promising he would help her buy a home. Man, she could easily bought a home with that $90K, at least a down payment on one, right? She probably had no idea about anything, but definitely trespassed to make sure everything would go right and she'd get her house, but that wasn't the case. He spent the money on luxury goods and personal expenses and did not pay her back when she asked. Also extorted a businessman out of $5,000 and then tried to persuade the same man to lend him $500,000 and stakes in real estate transactions in return for favorable actions from the mayor of New York City. But Miller Whitehead could never deliver on his promises. He was scheming, planning on these individuals from the beginning. Next up, this one is absolutely unbelievable. We're traveling down to Minnesota. Jessica Besk of Fargo was stopped in Polk County, Minnesota on May 8th for speeding. Deputies allegedly smelled marijuana coming from her car and searched the vehicle. Besk wrote in court documents that she was found to be in possession of 3 pieces of drug paraphernalia that tested positive for meth. The deputies allegedly found a bong, a glass jar containing a crystal substance, and pipes. Besk wrote that under Minnesota law, drug paraphernalia is legal, but she was arrested and charged with first-degree possession, she wrote. Now, this is the catch. It says last year, drug paraphernalia was decriminalized in Minnesota, even if it contains drug residue, right? So how did they get this possession? It says that the charges did not roll back an existing law that treats bong water as a controlled substance. And anyone convicted of a first-degree possession crime could be sentenced to up to 30 years in prison and a fine of no more than $1 million, or both. In the court documents, Besk wrote that the bong and other items found were paraphernalia. She also asked that her vehicle and cash that she won at the casino right before all this happened be returned to her because it's not for forfeiture. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, in some states, if you're committing a crime while driving your vehicle, you can take that money. So you might want to freshen up on your rules and regulations. She had been giving them a hard time for them to decide, hey, we're going to hit a long water puddle. If I were to guess, based upon what I've seen from Minnesota so far, she's probably more than likely going to get smoked. Next up, just a quick little update on something that's going on in Honduras. It says the president of Honduras has announced the creation of a new 1,000 capacity mega prison, just like the one that they made in El Salvador. Look, I told y'all, man, I would not be surprised if every country that's got a little bit of scratch are going to be building these mega prisons. And if you think about it, probably save a lot more money in the long run than having a bunch of tiny prisons all over the country. Make things much easier if you're to ask me. I don't know. But it seems like this mega prison is becoming a trend, and now Honduras is about that one as well. Now, next up, we're traveling to my home state of Virginia. And this actually took place a while ago, but he just recently got sentenced, and I don't think anybody's heard of what he done. A federal time in prison after a jury found him guilty of manslaughter last October for the death of his own cellmate. Back in 2018, 48 was serving a 47-year sentence in a U.S. penitentiary league when prison officials found his cellmate lying face down in a pool of blood with the handmade knife protruding from the base of his skull. So the other inmate had been locked in the cell alone when the discovery was made. It was later discovered that the other inmate had been stabbed more than 150 times. And then what does he do on the last one? Shoves it in the base of his skull. Leaves him there, face the COs to see it. Man, imagine them walking up to that cell and seeing something like that. They never forget it. Change their lives forever. Not to mention, they're going to look at inmates totally different. But believe it or not, he was only sentenced to an additional 15 years in prison. So maybe it was some kind of a self-defense situation because he got a manslaughter charge, not murder. But like I say all the time, it doesn't matter. It's like a basic fight in jail. Both inmates go to the hole. Well, if you get into a fight and you end up killing the inmate, started it, he was the aggressor, it doesn't matter. You're going to go to court. You're still going to get time added to your sentence, even if it's 100% self-defense. They just prove make that goes through these situations says the same thing, man. The other dude was trying to do something to me. Unless they got foolproof video evidence or testimony from numerous witnesses, that was complete 100% if he didn't do nothing, he was going to get. Now, he was only sentenced to 15 years in prison. So maybe it was some kind of a self-defense situation because he got a manslaughter charge, not murder. But like I say all the time, it doesn't matter. Just like a basic fight in jail, both go to the hole. Well, if you get into a fight and you end up killing the inmate, but he started it, the aggressor, it doesn't matter. You're going to go to court. You're still going to get time added to your sentence, even if it's 100% self-defense. They just can't prove. Every inmate that goes through these situations says the same thing, man. The other dude was trying to do something to me. Unless they got foolproof video evidence or testimony from numerous witnesses saying that it was complete 100% self-defense. If he didn't do nothing, he was going to get killed, then yeah. But man, I can't even imagine going out like that, man. Sitting on that floor watching dude probably poke you up knowing it's your last few minutes. Crazy situation. Like, condolences go out to the family members involved with that as well. I don't care if he was an inmate or not. I'm sure he still had plenty of family that loved him. But that's a wrap for today's lockup and crime related news. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did and you're new, like I said in the beginning, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and stay tuned. I got a great reaction coming your way, and the green screen will be in full of the episode that you might have watched. I will be compiling them together and making another video soon enough. As all, the next time, y'all be easy, be safe, and more importantly than anything, stay free.
EVE Online is a vast universe, alive with the unrelenting activity and combined history of its players.
Alright, wait for this damn ass. I apologize, but I'm just hanging out with y'all, kicking it. This mosquito jig smoker, and supposed to keep mosquitoes off my ass. Let's see how good that works. But sorry, we gotta wait for this ad to finish. Got it muted, so now.
Hold on, guys. Sorry, y'all. It's taking forever for this ad. How are you doing, Hillbilly? What are you focused on? What y'all too? How about you, Bird? Miss Bird? Dundee? What y'all do today while we wait? Let me just have some wholesome conversation. How y'all doing? Hot, miserable. Yeah, I can kind of relate. It's been fucking horrible. Just utterly horrible. I mean, horrible. Way too damn hot. Them Gene, you work today? Oh yeah, you know it is. It's almost done. Yeah. Here it is.
Prison. So let's get right into it. If you enjoyed this type of content, bell before you leave, and check out my playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. All right, just like in the morning time, you gotta eat your breakfast and get going. Well, we do too before we watch all these clips. So let's see what's on the menu for our breakfast this morning. Paper bag, nice, nice. Oh, dry oats, like a deer. I'd be feeding stuff like that to the billy goats at the petting farm. Oh, some pancakes with a little jam, some flapjacks, nice protein. A couple pieces of bread wrapped in paper. This is typical here. That is a peanut butter and jelly blend mixture. They whip it all together, and then slap it on. As you can see, evenly spread. I'm just playing. He's got to articulate that to get the spread right. Good job, my friend. Good job. Okay, we got a problem. I missed something here. Meal 2. What? I thought that was all breakfast. That was his breakfast and lunch. They're feeding grown men less than school kids.
It's not gonna look that great. I'm sorry.
Gotta change. What prison is this in, man? TBC? Should have known, man. Should have known. This is during the lockdowns, I think. Man, oh man. Yeah, during lockdowns, they'll feed you like this because there ain't nobody working in the kitchen. Keep in mind, all the inmates work in the kitchen, right? So they're usually the first ones, the kitchen blocks, to be shaken down so they can get right back into the mix of cooking things. But usually the first, few days of the lockdown to a week, the trays are going to be coming like this. Bag lunches, some basic bull crap.
Welcome to the kitchen. Not the old kitchen, the new kitchen. This is where I make my living at. This is why I survived so many years in jail, making jailhouse candy from scratch.
Let me just stop it right here and paint a picture for a second, all right? When I first seen this clip, my initial thought was, this big dude, man, he does not look like he should be making candy. I understand the hustle and I respect it. But I hope he gets out and realizes, man, he was meant for so much more than just whipping up some candy. That's how I look at a lot of individuals doing these side hustles in prison. Very talented, hard workers, great work ethic, good mindset. If only they could apply that in the streets, man, they could become alphas. You know what I mean? That's how I look at these type of situations. Not just this guy, just anyone in prison with the talent and they're trying to survive. I wish to see them out and doing that stuff on the streets, really making some real bread. But in prison, this is definitely a good hustle. Not gonna lie, especially if you're good at it. And this guy is a pro.
Candy from scratch. Supply and demand. As long as you got something that people won't want, they don't always want to come get it from you. I take the Jolly Ranchers, I melt the Jolly Ranchers in the stinger. I gotta open them up in a fast amount of time before it get too much air don't hit it and they lock up.
Yep.
Shake them like this. Close them before they get hard. And you got a jailhouse lollipop with taffy in the middle. You know how they used to have blow pops with bubble gum in the middle? I got jailhouse taffy on the inside. Shout out to my homie Ange. He told me, put the Kool-Aid on the outside so to give it that sweet and sour taste. And you got lollipops for $3.
Or you could dip it in Fireball as well. That is key, man. It's all about the perception first. The mates are going to look at the lollipop. It looks bland. Nah, we got a bunch of sparkles and crumbs and stuff falling off. They're going to buy that. Kind of like a firework, right? You don't want no basic packaged firework. You want the one with all the animation, boom booms and wham whams on it, right? So, second of all, he's charging $3 a pop. Man, I don't know about that. I mean, you got to figure he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 suckers already made, not to mention the other batch at $3 a pop. He's running like $100 scheme up in that money with them damn jollies. But, people buy them, man, especially on the weekend movie night. They want something to suck on,
This is how I started my business, Breakaway to Make Away. I got clothing lines.
Ooh, breakaway to make away.
We ain't stopping. We legit with it, too.
Damn.
My man got cookies and taffy.
Oh, my.
Follow into the next one.
He's hustling for real.
My man got ice cream. Gotta put the salt on the ice. What type of salt is that, bro?
That's the salt you put on to melt the snow.
The salt you put on to melt the snow, you actually put it on ice to freeze the ice so you can make ice cream. Real ice cream. Ice cream. Real ice cream.
Put me anywhere
Cookies and cream.
Earth, and I'm gonna triple my work.
Cookies and cream ice cream. I wonder how much he's charging for that. Probably like $10 based upon the sucker prices. But I like how he said in the background, put me anywhere on earth and I'm gonna triple what I'm worth. Something along those lines, right? Yeah, he's gonna make money no matter where he's at. That's what's up, man. That was a good video. BA2MA_FR. Shout out to you, bro. Hopefully that's him who did it. I don't know. These videos sometimes are spread throughout so many different channels. All right, next up, we got ourselves some gym activity. Like I said before in my past videos, man, it can be very dangerous in these prison gyms. You know, it can be jumping at times. A lot of people get attacked, a lot of people gambling. As you can see, here's a massive dice game. Now, just picture me rolling up in the mix. You know, let me get in on that. Trust me, I probably would have. Man, I love shooting dice. I even enjoyed losing. It was a good time, good experience, fellas. Appreciate it. Classic pin, black and white stripes. Nice. Them things definitely make people look like inmates. Old Monopoly outfits. Ooh, brick. Your prison homeboy that played, bro, we got 10 different stash spots you don't know about. Oh, goodness. Every drawer and
All right,
all
Gene,
them
I
bunks
see
is,
y'all. Bird, you're right. I am paying attention. You are
man,
completely wrong, Bird. I'm paying you attention. Y'all just give me a bit. I'll take it. I'll put that. I'll put that up. I can't do it right currently where I'm at, man, but I'll do it. I will. You got to give me a bit. Yeah. Shit, bro. This motherfucker, man. You know, let's give me a minute. Then once they get back inside. You don't get understand, bro. I'm outside. I can't do shit.
listen to the end. He said, look at that dude. He bad, man. He bad right there. Look at that wrist. Look at that wrist. Whipping that spread around, man. That wrist bad. Hey, don't go unseen. Pretty crazy situation there. And a lot of people probably asking, why doesn't he fight back? This, that, and the third, because maybe he thinks if he does, he'll die. You know, so that's how it is with some of these guys. They might not have old heart like Andy Dufresne. You know, a lot of people weigh out their choices and thinking, you know, it's just better to go with the flow, to risk losing my life trying to go against it. Sad, but that's reality, y'all. Don't go to prison. Now, this clip is crazy. All right, you're going to see this female right here. She corresponds or speaks with this guy throughout the day. They're both in the same jail, right? How do they do that? How do they pass these self-made jewelry and kites to each other? Well, one's on the floor above the other. And I've seen a technique like this where you can communicate through the toilets, drain the water and speak through the toilets. Yeah, but I've never seen people pass things through them. It's the ultimate fish game, okay? The line that they flush down the toilet is made out of string, a bed sheet or t-shirt, and tied together. You know, go down the pipe, you know, and all the pipes are connected from floor to floor. So they'll flush down the string that might have a spork connected to it. A little plastic spork will go down, flush down. And the other person below on the floor below will flush their string with the spork on it, and those sporks will get connected. They'll hook each other. So they'll pull the package up through the with the spork attached to the other line, and that's how they get the packages through the pipes. I mean, they pass food, everything through that toilet pipe. She's eating some chips through it. But man, you know, I've never seen it in action. Separate women's pods from the men's completely, even down to floor level, so that they could stop this stuff from happening. I've always looked at the jail toilet as just a basic toilet. You know, a lot of people look at it as different things. You know, they use it for different things. Clean. I don't care how clean you clean it. Okay. Once you get past the spot where you can't clean no more, that's where all the germs are. It's just going to float right back up. You know, it's in the pipes. Can't clean the pipes. So what the hell? You're just tricking yourself. Just because your toilet's spotless don't mean that the water coming out the pipes ain't. So I stay from all that crazy nonsense, man. It's filthy to me. But these people, man, they'll eating food and stuff, pass through it, bags and shit. I'm not doing all that. Now, kite, yeah, I'll do that. You know, pass a little note stuff and then wash my hands immediately after touching the bag that it came through. But next up, this is how other inmates be stealing other inmates' girls' numbers, then wait until they transfer or leave to call them. Now, I've been personally in a situation like this, but let's watch a video and then I'll give you my 2 cents.
Listen, love, listen. I'm calling because I got your number last time me and Jay was playing poker. He ain't even on the deck no more. Ain't no setup, it ain't none of that. You feel me? He ain't on the deck no more. So, you know what I'm saying? I was calling you to see what was to you because, man, dude, a real cornball. Man, he a proof. You feel me? We ain't think you don't need no type of goofy around you. You know what I'm saying? I see all your pictures. I know how you coming and how you look. Me and you will look great together. Phone them tomorrow, man. Look, shorty. And I'm chocolate. What? Hey, look, slow down, little mama. Look, let me tell you, I just told you I got your number. I ain't playing, ain't no childish. I'm grown, shorty. I don't even do all that. Because I had to wait till he left, because I didn't want you to think nobody was trying, you know what I'm saying? Set you up, but man, dude, go you was over here getting treated. Man, everything, man, he stayed getting beat on, man. No, you deserve better than that, man. Look, he had his girl name. Kimberly, Jasmine, Taisha, man, he had them all on his home wave, man. He was talking to all of them. They was sending them money pictures and all that. So I'm like, dang, why you doing shorty like that? She too thing for you to be playing. Like, man, I don't care about her. I'm just treating her. I ain't even finna, you know what I'm saying, be bothered with her when I get out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just letting you know. I ain't no cop stuff, none of that. I'm just letting you know what it is so you won't get your little heart broken. I know that you really in love with dude.
Oh man, so I don't know if that's legit or just some kind of skit. It definitely looks legit, but we can't hear the girl's voice, so we can only assume. But this stuff definitely happens. Listen, trust me, I've been through the experience. I used to write down my addresses and phone numbers in this little mini address book that they would sell on commissary. And you know, I used to leave my cell all the time. I'm always down there, like homeboys saying, you playing poker. Why you got to do it to the poker player, though? You know, right? But anyways. One day I got transferred to a new prison. Now, when I get to this prison, I wait a day before I call, let them know where I'm at, right? But when I finally do call, because I had a list of people that I called every day. Few girls, you know, this is before I met Brittany. I had a few girls hold me down, and I called them. You know, I went down the list, and every girl that I called said the same thing, that someone called them trying to get with them, right? So immediately after that, I started coding my addresses and numbers inside of my mail in a secret spot that, you know, unless they went through every last drip and drop of paperwork, they wouldn't know where it's at. But yeah, you got to keep your intel on closed quarters in prison, man. I'm trying to tell you, these dudes will snatch it up and then spit some bullshit game like this to your old lady. And not to mention, like he did as well, drop dime on you, man. Like he's writing all these other girls. You don't need to be going through that, man. You need to be loved, and I'm the one to do it. Next up, someone sent me this video, and this is the first time I've ever seen anybody catch a flame like this in prison. Maybe it's because the fans were expensive and there was no AC in the prison I was at, so there ain't no chance in the hell I'm gonna risk breaking.
Once I
Looks
get
like
into
spliced the fans wires to go to the pencil, the positive and negative to go to the pencil, which surges electricity to the lead of the pencil, and you can get a light off of it. Boy, this is definitely something I did in lockup during a lockdown. All we had left were these damn glizzies. We were roasting them just like homeboy is. I think he's using the plastic spoon though. That ain't the route to go, bro. You need that number 2 pencil, right? That plastic, man. I don't want no plastic near anything. Yeah, man. When times is rough and that's all you got left, it's time to barbecue. Like, you know how many times I had to funnel up toilet paper like that? So many times. What? Hold on, man. He slapped that thing on a white face? Crazy. I remember I had a cellmate one time. He actually got a little mad at me because I didn't like sugar in my spaghetti. I looked at him like a freak for doing it himself, man. And I think that's what he didn't like about it. But either way, some things just ain't meant to have sugar on them, man. And that damn sausage and honey bun do not mix. Sucker free TV is the first comment I see. It says overcooked it, bruh. Yeah, he did. That thing's charcoal. Next up, we got ourselves a little chicken fry in prison. That's right, man. Inmates get their hands on some oil. You know what time it is. They're either going to be melting some flesh or they're going to be greasing up some chicken.
Oh, man, look, we got a whole situation.
Sure, you coming.
Yeah.
Dang.
Real.
I ain't got my phone. My phone inside. I'm watching him cook some chicken.
Man, first off, that chicken ain't sizzling like it should.
About
If it was
10,
dipped into some
12,
real hot
15 minutes
grease.
back.
That junk got a slow bubble to it, man. It ain't frying
But I
nothing.
put a variety of
Thinking
videos
about my
together.
fried
It's
chicken,
just,
man, for real.
oh, shit.
You got to throw it in there.
This one's
It's
taken.
got to pop
This
on your
one's
skin to know
long.
it's cooking right.
Give her the phone. I need her to do something for me.
That thing ain't doing nothing. You got a lot of chicken, though.
Let's
Damn.
go out there and tell her right quick. Tell her.
Audio.
Them things is just swimming in grease. They ain't doing nothing.
I'm trying to teach y'all. If I want to eat play, baby. Yeah, we ain't playing. We having all the spice. I've seen it.
Well, let me see it cook then. Fully cooked. It's starting to bubble now.
You gotta remember now.
Yeah, you need some more fire, bro.
Put all that weight on. Y'all know.
First comment says that's dangerous. They can kill someone with that cold ass oil. Next up, we got a quick clip of a situation. I don't know what's going on. But this is something you probably shouldn't be doing in prison, man. Cuddle bugging with your bunkie.
Hey, check this shit out. I remember this.
Man,
This is
that
crazy.
is a special. Man,
Sleeping
it
together.
must be chilly. The AC must be cranked up to the max. That's what it is. It's definitely is funky though because the top bunk's
Y'all
empty.
check this
It's not a
shit
good
out.
look though. Not a good look. They are sleeping with their shoes on though. It's well trained in the arts.
Crazy.
Next up, lockup is a very dangerous and treacherous place, right? But people can cut loose and have a good time sometimes, especially when it comes down to people that are hungry. They'll do things for food. Yeah, there's a lot of those, man, and a lot of guys would make them do some funny things for it. And this is one of them. I've seen something like this done before too, personally. I'll tell you about it after we watch it.
Marshall, what would you do for a Klondike?
What I do for a bag of beans and a pickle.
Dang, that head looking lumped up. So they shaved a cross down the back of his head all the way to the front, half of his mustache. You even see the other eyebrow gone. Oh, see, having this guy walk around the block would have had us all laughing for weeks. Man, I'm telling you, I've seen some crazy stuff, man. People walking around in thongs or mongs is what we like to call them, man thongs for a Chico stick, drinking bullet water, community toilet water for some Chico sticks, honey buns, stuff like that. The things that people do for entertainment in lockup have no boundaries. Next up, a lot of people might be thinking that this guy's just having a good time, riding the buffer. Well, that's not what the situation is, actually. Okay, he's putting pressure down so we can get a better scrub on the floor. Believe it or not, this gets the job done much quicker, much thoroughly as well. But I'll never forget, man, one person I was in, guys used to take the whole buffer all the way up to the top tier and bottom tier. They were buffing their cell floors. And some people, they would lay down naked photos first and then put the glaze on top, and they'd have naked photos in their floor. Or they would have lighter cases, pin cases, all this stuff, they would put naked photos in it and then glaze over it with the wax and buff it out. Well, that's all I got for y'all today. Hopefully you enjoyed some clips coming from old penitentiary. I got a crazy story coming your way within the next day or so, not to mention a few interviews. Looking forward to it too. Maybe that's all I needed was a little break from them. I was doing a lot of them at one point. Man, you can get burnt out on doing the same type of thing over and over again. That's why I try to change it up a bit for you on this channel, show you clips, talk about stories, bring interviews, cooking, tattooing. I mean, you name it. We've hit every corner of the prison genre. But that's what we do over here. Talk about prison.
All right, just thinking along with you. I've got a battle just a little bit bigger than a roast up, y'all. This is the last
That's
bit
right.
I'm smoking,
I got another lineup of clips
and
of
I
people on the
can't
brink of going to
let
jail.
it do
Not
nothing
to
but
mention
play until I
probably
get
the
back
most
in there.
scariest man. You'll understand as soon as we get there. So if this is what you're into, all things lockup and crime related or close to it, then this is where you want to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out my playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. All right, first up, it appears we are on the moon. I'm just playing. This is the sand in Myrtle Beach. But we do have an issue here. It says my friend got put in handcuffs for wearing a thong bikini at the beach. Ladies, listen up, man. Some states, they ain't going to stand for it. Well, I don't know about the state at home, but, certain little local beaches and county areas, stuff like that. The pedestrians ain't got time for their kids to be seeing them cheeks jiggling like honey buns at 7-Eleven. No, they're called the cops.
Why is it illegal to have a bikini on the beach?
I literally wear this to the beach
I want us
every
to
day.
show you. We're going to show you. Absolutely.
Shall be unlawful for any person appearing in the nude on any public beach access to public waters or any public property
In the view of the public.
I'm not
So
nude.
nobody's nude. There's nobody
I'm
nude
not
right now.
nude.
You're in a phone.
Thong is not
Thong
nude.
is not nude.
Colin told us that we're nude. And that we can't be nude on the beach.
A thong. It ain't even a G-string, sir. Now the divas out there wearing them things. That's a bit of a different issue. But thongs, man, you still got, it covers a little.
Oh, that's why we have to have a long order. We have to cover up. Two, if you're out here in a bathing suit and a cover up, you have a thong under it. That's fine.
Are there measurements? Yeah, are there, is there a size? Or are we just making we're just in trouble because someone complained about us specifically? But we're just gonna leave.
And that's your right.
Okay, so can we leave now? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Thank you.
But it looks like, I guess, right, she got herself a little warning. Go ahead, slap some netting or something around them cakes, and you'll be all right. But this is Sydney Brown. That's her page name. And I think she's like a trapeze artist or something. She was probably practicing on the beach in her thong. Obviously, as you can see, some places are the world's scariest man. I tell you all the time, if you get into an argument with someone, man, it's best just to walk away. I don't mind it, though, because I've grown to hate violence, man. Peace overpowers everything to me now. Walk away from the situation or run to a pickup truck. The tailgate will keep them out.
What, really? That's insane. That's crazy.
Dude is on the roof of the truck, man. Dude hopped on the top of the truck fast. faster than the actors from Tremors. Honestly, when I seen his Blue Angel air show shorts on, man, I thought he was gonna do something, but I guess he just decided to fly away. But let me ask y'all, would you run from a fight like this? Next up, we got a little situation in the gym. So big guy here is going to be defending a girl that's being yelled at by another man
Well,
to
you're
move her
definitely
things.
outnumbered,
Let's
so
find out if
unless
he
you
backs
want
down,
to
apologizes for
you
yelling at the
probably
girl.
should try.
No. That's a female.
And if somebody comes up on you, you shoot. I mean, you have to use some type of force.
It's my
It's messed up as well.
Okay, so first off, he's saying she needs to talk to me with respect as well. There's always 10 sides to every story, right? So I'm not picking no sides and jumping to no conclusions here. I don't know exactly what was done.
You talk with her, you talk to me. I talk with you, okay? You talk to me with both sides.
Sounds like dudes egos.
Nothing but a piece of shit. Let me know if he talk to you. Let me know if he talk to you. I'm gonna be here now. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna work out. No, you're not gonna use it. Don't worry about it. You think that you better? You think that better than me?
Don't wish you that tried it. Big guy better watch out.
You think that you better than me? Don't tell me, Frank. Don't tell me. You're gonna go all the way.
And if this was a cell block, these cats right here get everybody knocked off.
Hands on her.
Hillbilly, you crazy. You for real crazy, bro. Alright, y'all, I'm putting the head inside right now. So if anything y'all want me to watch or put down the link, I'll drop a link to the channel if somebody wants to come up, anybody. I'm not gonna be live really that long tonight. I was gonna go live real quick, and do like a normal live where we're just talking, chilling, and chatting. I'm sorry about the video quality again. It's my net, but we can hear it, and you can pretty much put things together. I mean, whenever it's a little bit choppy, and ultimately you can tell what's going on. I would think. I've seen this YouTube video of these two, as they name themselves gringos that went to Mexico and took some shrooms. They got a mushroom tea, had a sauna bath with herbs and stuff, and essential oils, had a mushroom tea, and then had some raw mushrooms that were jarred and fucking like amber honey. It was such a cool little video to see. It'd be cool to experience. All right, y'all. Hold on just a second. I gotta get everything. Poor baby. Poor little Brownie. And they're sleeping. Come here, Brownie. Come on, baby. You ready to go to bed? Go on, get to your bed. Come on. Brownie, come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Take this thing off. Put it on the charger. Good boy. Whoops. Knock that over. All right. So what do you guys want to check out? Let me switch to this.
Yeah, that's ultimately a little bit better, I would believe, as far as audio quality and background noise and all that. This should be a lot better. So, what would you guys like to see? Anything? Give me the suggestions. I don't have the chat pulled up right now. I'm going to try to pull it up. Well, actually, I do have it, but I don't know if I can go back far enough and find what Gene posted. I'll try. These people are dumb, and just certain idiots that keep saying they try to interpret what they said. I said something. I didn't finish what I said. The person still said that if it keeps on, the authority figure, I could get a few of them, whoever is, I feel is a threat to me the most. If I need to file, and I will if I need to, but I'm not trying to. Like, I'm actually trying to move forward. Other people want to keep moving backward. Well, they don't want to move backwards. They just want things from moving forwards. And no, I can't find those previous links y'all posted, so I'd have to get them again. Oh, yeah, there they are. Okay. This is 34 minutes.
No, it was a real gun, man.
Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah, this is crazy. He doesn't realize it, though, at first. He realizes they're, and they got him in one of them Tyvek suits, which they usually put you in whenever they suspect you of like a murder or some other type of crime that you have forensic evidence on your clothing, hair, etc. So they put you in one of them Tyvek suits after they strip you down and, get all the so-called evidence they can get. And it's also to help preserve anything else there might be because they look at you another time. That's what them Tyvek suits are. I might have something better, Jane. I mean, I don't mind playing that one. It's just that I've actually like title is kind of self-explanatory. It's really fucked up too. The fact the dude's literally sitting there and has been shot, and that dude subjects him to a fucking interrogation over and over and over. But it's the channel I use, to put it that way. Well, sort of hillbilly. So I'll tell you more. Well, that's how you have to do it. I appreciate it. I appreciate that, hillbilly. Tell him I appreciate it. Yeah, it's real pussy, hillbilly, because what they do is, that's kind of a better way to get some of these people because the copyright system's a little broken because it demands you to have to go to court. And okay, let's just say four channels are completely always violating, sniping you and stuff. Bro, let's say it's 3 videos each channel. I mean, that's all technically you need to hit, and that would technically take the videos down that's yours, and it would actually knock the channel down. So, you only need to really hit 3. But the problem is once you do that, they might lose their channel and then go down temporarily, and they get an email. But then all they got to do is reply back, submit a counterclaim, and then guess what? And then you'll get an email hour or two later, shortly after, that says, okay, after the counterclaim's been processed, where they ask you to go to a court and get a judgment that this is your content. Do you think somebody, any rational person, I mean, unless you're fucking Mr. Roebuck or Moneybags, do you think that you could go to court 3, 6, 9, 12 times? And remember, that's just them 12, those 12. Let's say you could maybe get all 3 vids at one time for each channel heard. So that's going to court 4 times at the very least and spending money. Um, but that's just that time. You know, these motherfuckers are so demented that even after suffering that loss, they'll turn right back around and put it on a new video. And I don't know, even if you went to court and proved that was, Well, I guess that would count. So what they would have, so they would just see what they would do is they would just put on a different video or new live that you made because that wouldn't be covered under that court thing. So do you see how when you're targeted on here and they're doing copyright violations, how the copyright system is really broken? It's only fair really is if I'm dealing or maybe just a couple, but even a couple is really too much for the average person. The average person could handle one person probably and take one person to court over copyright stuff if they wanted to, really. But even that's, a lot to do for just that one person. So if you got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 channels coming at you, shit, the fuck. I mean, you'd have to be Superman to be able to attend that all, and fight like to be able to do all that. Like you'd have to be supernatural. Yeah, hillbilly, and that's just a perfect spotlight on a part of YouTube that's broken. They don't protect the small content creators. Like I mean, they got that little system that'll pick up if I'm watching Discovery Channel episode or something and flag me. Well, why can't that system scan little like they don't care about improving part of harvest from that crop. Make it better a product, or anything like that. It just makes more sense, it seems like, to them economically to resell you a replacement instead of offering to be able to repair it. Like Sears, you got a vacuum from Sears or whatever, you had a problem, you could take it to Sears, and they would always, not anymore. All those, American type businesses that, eventually, I guess, got consolidated with more overseas stuff and different things. They just slowly shut down. Like when I was growing up as a kid, I went to J.C. Penney's. I don't even know if J.C. Penney's is open anymore. I don't think so. it's been so long. I think it's been like since I think I might have went to what's left of one, and there wasn't much left in it at that time. Like somewhere in the between 2013 and 2000 something else. Used to go there for shoes, pants, Sunday clothes, school clothes. Me and my brother would go with my grandmother and my grandfather and eat out at whatchamacallit, hmm, the pasta house. Oh my god, the pasta house. Fucking delicious. Every now and then when we go up way up north, there's still they're not open in Cape anymore, but they're about an hour more farther north of Cape. And it was about over a year or more ago we went actually by and I got some toasted ravioli. First time I had some of that dish and that same style and way they made their toasted ravioli in years. I mean, it was like nostalgia. It really was. I'm sorry, I got off track, guys. I was supposed to be playing something. I was trying to find something else, to be honest with you, because I mean, no offense. I mean that is a fucked up case, but it's really just an interrogation. And I think that would be a little, maybe a little dull for some people. I don't know. No offense. I mean, it's a fucked up thing, Gene, and I'm glad you saying that. Like, so when I say that I'm into true crime, I'm not lying. Uh, this is a little bit, I think, even more scary. Because shit.
Dr. Squatch unleashes the power of natural ingredients, creating a thicker, nourishing lather that most soaps.
Yeah, I'm getting that Dr. Squanch soap. I signed up for some, waiting on it to be delivered. I'll check
Zach
this
certainly
out.
did open up and talk to me, reportedly much more than ever before. But you will notice his low, flat, and distinctly monotone voice and affect. This appears to be dissociative behavior, where he withdraws from content. The reality affects his coping skills. He might otherwise become overwhelmed. It's also hard to ignore the strange bobbing of his head, as well as some moments where he laughs inappropriately. Now, the head bobbing appears to be a ritualistic, self-soothing behavior, again, to fight off anxiety. And the laughter suggests breaks with reality and is most likely tied to some movie in his head that only he can see. Common symptoms of disorders ranging from severe anxiety to schizophrenia.
Now, this is Zachary Davis. He is a hell of a person. I'm going to show you a few clips, and then I'm going to show you a full interrogation interview, and your discretion is advised. Maybe.
You know, there are all kinds of people.
We'll see how they work from it.
World, you know, we all know that. I've talked today about the fact that we have all sorts of diagnoses for people, as Candace was talking about. You know, antisocial personality, something we call psychopaths, sociopaths. And from time to time in the last 45 years, I've encountered people that I thought transcended, you know, all the labels that we had and rose to the level of just being pure evil. I haven't seen them very often, but there are times that I've encountered those that I thought, yeah, this goes to a I was asked to interview in Tennessee. I was asked to interview this person by his lawyer. And when I arrived at the jail, to interview a Zachary Davis, the guards there really didn't want to be in the same room with him. He was shackled, hands and feet around his waist, but they seriously didn't want to be in his physical space because his lawyer. And when I arrived at the jail to interview Zachary Davis, the guards there really didn't want to be in the same room with him. He was shackled, hands and feet around his waist, but they seriously didn't want to be in his physical space because they sensed such a evil energy around this individual. I'm going to tell you, you may not want to watch it, so it's very brief, but if you want to look away and just listen, you can do that. I'll just tell you ahead of time. Did you kill your and what did it sound like?
There's this wet something song.
Oh
And then
my
you hear it
god.
again and again.
Yeah,
You said
Oh.
maybe 20 times.
about
Why so many?
Oh.
wanting to make sure she was dead.
Did you laugh when you were hitting her?
Yeah,
Why did you laugh?
I just thought she deserved it.
You heard when I said, did it make a sound? You heard him laugh when I said that. I asked him if they came in and said, hey, there's been a technical error and we're going to have to release you. Do you think you would be okay to go back out into society? And he said, yeah, sure. And I said, you don't like criticism. What if you had a job at a grocery store and the manager came by and criticized what you were doing? What would be your response? He said, I would probably take a can of green beans and smash his head in until he was dead. And I said, but you think you're good to go? I said, yeah, I'm good. Do you have a story or a question?
He obviously is definitely not freaking good to go. Sorry about the damn background music, y'all. I'm always careful with Dr. Phil fucking clips. They're iffy. Hell, even with that shit, I might not get hit immediately, but I bet you once this shit processes, it'll probably fucking still recognize it. Probably didn't even need to do that. But so beware. This guy is fucking evil. Like, this dude makes Jeffrey Dahmer and them I mean, seem like nothing. Um, Speaking of Jeffrey Dahmer, I might play this. I don't know if you saw that black gentleman and the white dude. Those are people that were in the army, and they were around Jeffrey Dahmer. And I might try to see if I can play a little bit of what they talked about. But they were in the army, and Jeff ended up becoming honorably discharged. Why was he honorably discharged? Well, he had an alcohol problem. He always had an alcohol problem. Chronic alcoholic. I mean, he started drinking when he was in high school. I mean, you know, supposedly his mother had a bunch of medication when he was in the womb, and he had a surgery, and after the surgery he didn't seem the same. It seemed like he was always aloof and stuff. And later on he got this obsession, and his dad felt so bad because he ended up thinking it was a good thing, maybe. So he indulged it, and he didn't really understand that his son was way too into roadkill and wanting to do so-called taxidermy. And Jeffrey Dahmer basically suffered from a disease that Dr. Dietz, the psychologist that spoke with him, as well as Kuklinski and others, said that he talked. He said that when I was with Jeffrey Dahmer, I asked him, you know, did you know, base temperament and all that fucked up shit. Was he you know, did it turn him on and different shit? And he said, yeah. And he said he liked the way that, forgive me, I mean, this is just so sick, but the way that the organs had a shine to them. And Dr. Dietz went into this thing about how, well, we as human beings actually want our objects to be shiny, you know, and so there's a root natural psychological thing behind that. He said the problem is that where this becomes a disorder is they have this paraphilia, which is a sexual disorder with, you know, that junk and wanting to think about it, you know, like the last dude that might have been his last victim that ended up escaping, Jeff picked up this hitchhiker. He wanted to he wanted to smoke weed and drink with him, which they did. They went back to the house. They lifted weights and everything. The hitchhiker was wanting to go to this concert, meet up with his friends. Jeff was supposed to take him. Well, more and more time passed by. Dude's like, you know, maybe we should go and have the rest of the beer on the way. He said, you know, I don't want to miss it. And Jeff ends up supposedly like trying to hug him or maybe kiss him. I don't know. And Netflix film, they made it seem like he tried to kiss him. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, what was that? And he's like, nothing. He's like, because I'm not that way. He's like, neither am I. He's like, well, dude, are you gonna take me or not? He's like, no, let's just chill out some more. And he's like, no, man, I want you to take me. And Jeff starts like crying apparently, and he's like, dude, are you fucking crying? And he's like, I'm fucking out of here. He's like, I'm gonna miss the fucking show now. Fuck you. And supposedly called him a faggot. And as he turned around and left, and was getting his shit and leaving, you know, they were lifting weights. So Jeff had picked up a barbell and just smashed him in the back of the head out of anger. And just think, you know, and then, I mean, the way Netflix made it depicted was like, he had realized then, like, he didn't just knock him out or nothing. Like, he ended up, well, actually, and was struggling, and Jeff ended up causing him to, you know, ended up taking the rest of his oxygen, and then was like, "Hey, wake up," you know, because he's fucked up. You got to remember. And then when he realized, and he was like, "Oh no, fuck," and it's just screwed up. It's really fucked up. And he just ended up smashing the person's bones and shit to pieces, you know, and spread them all across that property. And when the FBI went there and shit, they had to excavate all around the property. That's straight up Dahmer, you know, with field sees with not heterosexual but homosexual inclinations, but not in the natural sense where he can have relationship with people because he wanted to keep them and he wanted to control
Seems like
them,
we have become a
and he never wanted them to leave.
the new series Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story highlights our thirst for all things horrifying, gory, bloody, and real. Now, Monster landed the #1 spot on Netflix, was streamed for 200 million hours when it first dropped. Now, that's a lot of people spending a lot of hours consuming unthinkable, traumatic, and true events, really as entertainment, as fascination, as obsession. I want to welcome two men who say they were victims of Jeffrey Dahmer. The difference is they survived. Preston Davis and Billy Capshaw. Gentlemen, it's so good to meet you. And I mean that at two levels. It's good to meet you. And it's good that you're still here and alive and able to be met, because you now know a lot more about this individual you were dealing with, and realize you could easily have been numbers 18 and 19. That's hard to think about.
Yes, sir. It's real hard to think about. And it almost happened. You know, I went to the military when I was 17 years old and left home from a place in Arkansas, a small town. And moving forward, I got to Germany, and there was a college. Vehicle broke down. And during that time, I was drugged and raped by Jeffrey. At that time, I had no recollection of it. The following month, we were at a Thanksgiving dinner, and I had actually got into an altercation with Jeff, put him out into a blizzard where it had been what he'd done. Now, the only way I found it out was I was on the serial killer website, and I found out I was in a book called The Shrine of Jeffrey Dahmer, which was written by Brian Masters, and it mentioned me by name. It described the incident, and that kind of blew me. On men rape in the military called Justice Denied. And so that's when I met Billy, and we went to Albuquerque, and we were in that film. And then it just started to take off. You know, God started revealing little bits and pieces. I went through my records. I realized I had all kind of rectal issues throughout my career. And that's basically how we met. And we've been doing this ever since.
What was your first impression of
Jeffrey? Was a very obnoxious individual. He was a very different. And when I say that, I mean, you know, the average gentleman at 17 or 18 will talk about when we played football or basketball in high school, or I dated this girl, I dated that girl. That was never discussed. He was just a very aloof type individual, smart, but just different. And, you know, once he drank, his whole personality would change. He was very racist. He talked about blacks, Jews, you know, how he was better than. And I remember precisely, you know, what he drank. He was a beef eater's gin drinker.
At first, you think, okay, I've drawn a pretty good roommate here. This nice guy.
First, but after
the second night, things took a different turn.
Yes, sir.
What happened the second night?
He raped me, drugged me, and I'd have to jumped out a window, two-story window, broke my pelvis and my hip.
Okay. Now this was the second night.
I was there. Yes.
That you were there.
Yes, sir.
And you said he drugged you and raped you.
Yes.
And he also beat you.
Yes, he beat me so hard that I of course yelled, but if I yelled, he would hit me harder to stop the yelling. I just gave up. You know, and I cannot, for the sake of me, understand why anyone would want to glamorize that guy.
at all. That's sick. You know, it has to stop.
Dr. Phil, I believe the military knew. I spent a many a night laying in my house, and I'm like, how could they not know? Because I was in the military. He had a very short stint. I was in almost 10 years. And so, you know, I knew the structure on how it went. You make formation, which is where you're accounted for, where we have all the cooks, whatever. And then you run, you shower, and then you go to your particular job area. This man never made formation. Jeff made formation when I was there. How in the heck could they not know that this man was being tortured? I wrestled with that, and I finally came to the conclusion that everything in this spiritual realm or in the flesh is not for me to know. Something, God knows all. It's not for me to know, because I would have lost my mind trying to figure out how in the hell did the military, they had to know.
They did know.
They had to know.
I have a letter that was written to me about 10 years ago from a warrant officer. He was under investigation for the death of a man named Hans. He was the last one seen with Hans.
He who?
Jeff. Jeff was under the investigation, I'm sorry, for the murder of a man named Hans. Yeah, they knew.
You watched a little bit.
My thing hasn't been stopped, has it? Okay, no.
In and undermines everything that these people stand for. I think he re-victimized them, re-traumatized them, shamed them, the whole gamut.
That man had his hands on both of you.
Yes, sir.
What's your reaction to hearing him speak and say those things, knowing that he had you incapacitated, drugged, and had his hands on you?
I really suffered once I realized what happened to me, survivor's guilt. I basically suppressed my feelings with drugs and alcohol for a while. It's a miracle that I'm still married, but I blame myself for what happened to Billy because I didn't remember. And I remember when I met Billy, and Billy had told my wife what happened, and my wife asked Billy, how could he not remember? 30 years, Dr. Phil. I did not have any inkling what happened to me. When he got caught, I didn't realize what happened to me. I was actually watching a show on serial killers in 1992 in Virginia. And what cued me was to show the patch. We had an 8 on our uniform. And at that point, I still didn't realize I had been raped, but I realized that I had been stationed with him. And so it was years later that I realized what had happened to me. And it just kind of blew me away, you know.
Well, Preston, he says that he didn't commit any crimes out of hate, but you said you sensed racism and hate spewing out of him.
Yes. I was not afraid of Jeff. I actually knocked Jeff out because he urinated in my boots. And they moved him out of my room. And that was early on when I met him in probably July or August '79. So he was definitely a racist. But it's not for me to say, you know, I'm not going to play the race card and say he was, you know, it was white privilege. But that's something Billy.
It was white privilege.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The charisma, the good-looking guy from Wisconsin, and he played all these people. And he's lying in that interview. He's lying. He was a practiced liar, practiced manipulator, practiced everything. How can you get like that young?
He would rape and beat you
continuously all the time.
How many times a week?
I wasn't counting, sir, but I will tell you it was more than 5. It was more than, it depended on how much he drank. I actually stole his money out of his wall locker while I was doing that. I found ketamine bottles. I was a medic as well at 17 years old. I found ketamine. I found lorazepam or Ativan.
He kept you injured. He broke your hand. He broke your foot.
Yes.
He stabbed you.
He stabbed me, I think we counted 30 times. And this actually is a fingerprint right here.
I see that.
I'm grabbing here and choke.
He stabbed you 30 times.
He said that he was going to take my prostate out. I was tied up at the time. He had given me something IV, which as medics we had, access to all that stuff.
You're in the military.
Well, in
you
the
had a rape kit
military,
done.
you would never think that this would happen.
You told a nurse you had a rape kit done.
Right.
What happened?
She threw it away. And
Why?
I communicate with this nurse all the time. She's in a VA health care assistant or a VA. She's been in there since 1984 or 5.
Institutionalized.
Institutionalized.
So somehow or another, she threw
These
it away.
guys need to understand. Ryan Murphy and all these people who develop this stuff need to understand that's what happens. I'm lucky I didn't kill myself. I attempted suicide 3 times. I was going to kill him. Okay? I wanted to kill him.
All through the trial, they were trying to portray Jeffrey Dahmer as being insane and out of control, and you didn't buy that for a second.
Oh.
You thought this was purposeful, intentional, and he knew exactly what the hell he was doing.
You heard the 2 gentlemen. Yes. He started out with them and brought it on to Milwaukee.
Did you know that your brother had met him at the time, or was this something that you learned after the fact?
I learned after the fact. After the fact. I'm still learning. I'm still learning right today.
And what weighs on you the most heavily, Rita?
Every time I think that I'm done with the story, new stories come out. Just like today. I feel so bad for the 2 gentlemen. I really feel bad for you. I do. That's why I'm crying right now. I'm crying for them.
When you think about this, do you think about Jeffrey Dahmer, or do you think about what your brother went through? What is it that haunts you the most?
Well, 31 years ago, the time has passed, so I was kind of dealing with it. But since the movie came out, and the way he told the movie and showed the movie and lied about him contacting us, he didn't contact none of us. And he said that he did, Ryan Murphy.
He did not contact you or anyone in your family?
No. No.
Let me read you a statement that he made. Ryan Murphy, the creator of the series Hollywood Reporter, quote, over the course of the 3.5 years when we were really writing it, working on it, we reached out to around 20 of the victims' families and friends, trying to get input, trying to talk to people, and not a single person responded to us in that process. So we rely heavily on our incredible group of researchers who I don't even know how they found a lot of this stuff, trying to uncover the truth of these people. Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, a never-before-aired interview I did with Jeffrey Dahmer's parents. It was said that he had even impaled a dog's head.
He told me that he decapitated and put on a stake.
Tell me about. You know, today it seems like we have become a nation obsessed with true crime. The success of the new series Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, highlights our thirst for all things horrifying, gory, bloody, and real. The monster landed the #1 spot on Netflix.
Well, guys, I'm actually getting a little tired. I gotta end it. I'm getting tired. I'm gonna end it. And well, I checked Hillbilly, and I wasn't getting hit by him. Tired. I'm gonna end it. But y'all all have a good night. Thanks everybody for coming out and supporting me as always. Have a good evening. Rest of the evening. Oh shit. Oh, here's another thing. I'm ready to move on. I got to tell, my side of the story. And if Hillbilly don't mind, I'll just go ahead and speak for him a little bit. He was here back when that shit happened. He knows that's how I originally got put on the map and targeted. Like, that's how the desire started. Filthy only came through later on as an opportunist to fan the flames. And when he came on is when all the really fucked up stuff started happening offline and things. And people need to understand the true history, because these people are always going to lie and try to make it seem like it's something that it's not. Oh, they tried to help me, this, and that. Yeah, it's just one lie after another. But thanks everyone for coming by. Peace and blessings. We're out.